If you know, you know. Now, if you knew this face-to-face was finna be electric, then go ahead and grab your popcorn, re-up on your munchies, because they went at it in this face-to-face. I was expecting it. It was very intense face-to-face. However, Errol was just calm the whole time. You could tell that he's already in fight mode. You know, he's already got his mind right. Meanwhile, Porter trying to poke at him, but Errol Spence is just not reacting to anything silly Porter says and just countering everything Porter had to say. Now, Shawn Porter told Errol Spence to his face, "I'm gonna knock you out in the first round." Then obviously Errol Spence smirked and asked Shawn Porter, "Who did you knock out in the first round for you to say you're gonna knock me out?" And I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. Ain't nobody knocking out Errol Spence in the first round, especially not Shawn Porter. Now, obviously, boxing is the theory of the unexpected. But if I had a house, I would put my house on it that Errol Spence wouldn't get knocked out in the first round. Obviously, I believe Shawn Porter, the tone he said it in, it looked like to me that he was just trying to get a reaction out of Errol Spence, more so than he actually believed that he's going to knock out Errol Spence in round one. Now, we know that because up to that point where Shawn Porter stated he's going to knock him out in the first round, Errol Spence was just schooling Shawn Porter during the face-to-face. And Shawn Porter was getting bothered that he couldn't prove his point or get his point across because Errol always has something smart to say. And if you know how Errol Spence moves, then you already know Errol Spence is not about to let any nonsense get out there without saying something about it. So Errol Spence was just really controlling the whole face-to-face. So for Shawn Porter to steal the play away, he had to say something out of the book. That's just my opinion on why he said that. Now, if you want to hear my opinion and my review on the whole face-to-face and who just really dominated the face-to-face, I already posted a video on that. Now, getting back to what Shawn Porter said, Errol Spence told him, "Who did you knock out in the first round?" And then obviously Errol Spence told Shawn that he was actually going to knock him out. And Shawn told Errol, "No one ever knocked me out." And this is basically what we get into. You know, this is a great fight. Regardless of what people think of Shawn Porter, yes, he didn't want this fight in the past. However, the fight is here. So the fact that it's here, we got to talk about facts and facts only. Now, we all know Shawn Porter is a dog. We all know Shawn Porter, yes, he lost twice before. However, he never been dominated and he never been stopped. So if you look at his resume, he has a deep resume. He's a good fighter. However, he lost to Kell Brook in a close fight where Kell Brook had to hold like 45 times in order to negate the inside fighting, and Shawn Porter just pressuring him, and the fact that Shawn Porter be using his head, etc., etc. So he negated a lot of that by holding. However, Keith Thurman chose to fight. You know, he didn't choose to hold like Kell Brook did versus Shawn Porter, which made it more competitive and way more entertaining. Now, that being said, if Shawn Porter comes to fight like he claimed he is, then this fight is about to be even better than both of them fights. However, I must point out, you know, Shawn Porter, like I stated time and time again, he has a lot of good wins versus Danny Garcia, Broner, etc., etc., etc. However, on the other hand, the main factor, Errol Spence has the it factor. Errol Spence, they call him the truth for a reason. Because a lot of boxing analysts, trainers, fighters see Errol Spence as the future pound-for-pound number one, and he's getting really close to that. He's like 1 or 2 fights away. Now, we all know Shawn Porter is not no Luke Campbell. You know, obviously, Luke Campbell was ranked like number 5 in that division that he was fighting at 135. He never became a champion. And Lomachenko, the so-called pound-for-pound number one that they want to claim he is, he struggled versus him. You know, lost like 5 rounds against Luke Campbell. Now, Shawn Porter is not no Luke Campbell. Shawn Porter is actually like Godzilla compared to Luke Campbell. He's a fighter. He's actually a champion, 2-time champion, fought a lot of big names, proved himself time and time again. So if Errol Spence is able to dominate Shawn Porter or stop him, a fighter that never been stopped, then that's a big statement in the sport of boxing. So I believe, in my opinion, it's going to be a close fight early on, closer than Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. However, I believe Errol Spence will make the right adjustments, then dominate Shawn Porter and possibly stop him late. That's my opinion on the fight. Now, I believe Shawn Porter, unlike Kell Brook, where he had to negate Shawn Porter inside fighting by holding, I believe Errol Spence will go toe-to-toe with Shawn Porter when it gets down to it. However, as long as he avoid headbutts and cuts, he be all right, because we already know during the face-to-face, he told him, Shawn Porter told Errol Spence to his face, I'm going to cut you. Now, a lot of people try to say what he meant by punching, but come on now. You know, how many times do you actually cut a fighter by punching him? Cuts happen mainly because of headbutts. And we all know Shawn Porter is known for leading with his head. It's like a third punch in a way. It's like a third hand that Shawn Porter has is his head. So we all know Shawn Porter, could get dirty if he wants to. So the fact that he stated that, that's in the plan. You know, obviously, I don't think he could beat Errol Spence skill for skill. So he has to resort to fighting dirty, to making the fight ugly in order to win the fight. But regardless of the fact, if Errol Spence is able to dominate and knock out Shawn Porter after he beat and dominated Mikey Garcia, after he knocked out Kell Brook, arguably the #1 welterweight at the time, then Errol Spence only has Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao in his way, and he will have the deepest resume in boxing. Not only that, he will be, without any doubt, pound for pound #1. So the sky's the limit for Errol Spence. I can't wait for the fight. I believe Errol Spence has way more chance of knocking Shawn Porter out in the first round than Shawn Porter himself. But I do know that Errol Spence likes to take his time the first round to, get his timing right, instead of just go for broke. Obviously not against Campbell. Sometimes Errol Spence, if you do come to him looking for a knockout, he will knock you out. We've seen that before. And Floyd Mayweather always say the quickest way to get knocked out is trying to knock somebody out. That's why I don't believe what Shawn Porter says, because at the end of the day, I know he's way more intelligent than that. I know he has a plan. However, like Tyson said, everybody got a plan till they get hit. And we all know Errol Spence is one of the biggest punchers at the welterweight division. So like I always say, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't listen to these casual fans. Follow Lantoon Boxing on the links in the description box below. Follow me at Aki TV. Click on notification bell to get notified every time we go live and to be continued on the next episode of Aki TV. Peace, and we out of here.